Alrighty, welcome to this video. In this tutorial, we're going to talk about the control panel that you have on your host and all the things it can do and just some cool stuff that you should be aware of. So here's the welcome email I got. Okay, and it's always going to have, well, this one had a CPanel link that I can click on. If I go to my paid host, I showed this in another video, but if I log in, it's going to be really similar. I'm going to go over to my web hosting, log into CPanel. Okay, and I go straight in. So this is what my paid host control panel looks like. Okay, and this is what my, I got to log in first, so grab my B number. Okay, ABC, 1, 2, 3. All right, and this is what my free control panel looks like. So as you can see, CPanel is a third-party tool that just hooks up to whatever host that'll take it. So it kind of looks basically the same. There's going to be a few differences here and there, but just by kind of going back and forth, it's kind of hard to tell which one's paid and which one's free. But you'll start seeing as you start scrolling down. So on the free host, I can only have one FTP account. It's a free hosting. I can have unlimited subdomains, which is great. I can have unlimited add-on domains. Subdomains, remember, whatever .thoseonekids.com or whatever .bytehost18.com. So I have a subdomain on the bytehost18.com domain. I can have unlimited databases, which is actually pretty awesome for a free host. Unlimited disk quota, which again is awesome for a free host. This is just how much stuff I can store on my host. Then it tells me how much I've used, which isn't anything yet. And the bandwidth is how much data I can transfer. So when someone comes to my site, I have to use up bandwidth to give them the website. So no one's used any yet. And unlimited bandwidth. I mean, it's pretty amazing for a free host. Now, it does say here, though, I can only have, 50,000 hits a day, which I don't think I'll ever do. Not with this one anyways. Okay, so that's great for a free host. And then it gives me my FTP host name, my FTP username, and so forth. And then it tells me all the versions of everything that I'm running. So when I come back up here, this is where I can change my password. An add-on domain is if I went and registered a domain at Namecheap. Say I registered ilikecats.com and I wanted to do that, I'd click on add-on domains and then I would type in ilikecats.com. Then I'd add that domain. And then these things are name servers. So what you have to do is once you've registered your domain with a registrar, you go into your domain name control panel and you have to put these name servers inside of the domain name control panel. So for example, I can head over to Namecheap. Let's see if I can log in here. I don't know if I remember it. All right, so here's my account for Namecheap. I go into my dashboard, okay, and I have those one kids. So I can go and I can manage it. Okay, I got my WhoIsGuard protection, so I'm privately registered, and then here's my name servers. I go custom DNS, and this is for inter-servers. So the paid host here. So I am attaching this domain name, those one kids, to inter-servers servers. So this is their domain names. So I put those in there, and I saved it, and now when I type in those onekids.com, it takes me to inter-server servers. But if I wanted to hook those one kids up to ByteHost, my free servers, I'd come in here and I would just change the name servers, the name servers to these. And then it would point it to their servers. So that's how you add the add-on domain there. So if you get another domain and you want to use that domain and host it here, you can do that. You just use these name servers is what they're called. You go into your domain control panel, and then you point them to these name servers. And it usually only takes a few minutes. They'll say up to 48 hours, but it's usually a few minutes, and then it'll be working. All right, good stuff. So that's the add-on domains. Redirects is like if I type in Amazon.com without the A, it still takes me to Amazon because Amazon has registered Amazon and they just forward it to Amazon.com because they know people misspell their domain. So that's what a redirect would do. It's just you get a domain that you have and then you can redirect it to somewhere else. Email accounts, you can come in here. You know, to be honest, I should probably be showing you all this in here. So if I go into email accounts, this is my paid host, by the way. I can set up like whatever I want at my domain. So I have an email, dave@thoseonekids.com. This just looks really professional. Looks great on a business card. You're able to just say, hey, email me at whatever at myhost.com, and it just looks good. So you can set up these new names. So I could set up, you know, Fred@thoseonekids.com and set up a password for him, and I can give him how much of the mailbox space I want to give him, and then I just hit create account. Once it's created, you can do a bunch of stuff. You can forward it if you want. But anyways, that's just how you get an email with it's your domain name, which is pretty nice. Webmail is how you access that. Forwarders is if I wanted, whenever anybody emails dave@thoseonekids.com and I wanted it forwarded to my Yahoo account or my Gmail account, I could do that. All right, a bunch of other stuff you can play around with, but I don't really use. Okay, backups is really nice. You can back up your site with CPanel, and then you can go over to another host and use that backup to put it on another CPanel installation. So I could back up my whole host here on my paid host here at Inner Server, and then I could come over to my free one, and I should be able to just upload that backup file, and it'll just work. It'll back up all my databases. It backs up everything. So it's really slick. So they've made it easy to go from host to host if they use CPanel. File Manager we've talked about in another video, but this is just basically a way to FTP your things, but not using Fire FTP. But again, the bad thing here is you can usually only upload one thing at a time. So I don't really use that very often. Let's see, FTP accounts we've talked about in another one, but this is where you just set up the FTP account so people can get in there and upload things to your server and stuff like that. So I have a Dave@thoseonekids, and over here on the free host, I don't know if I can get into that because they only give me one FTP account. Oh yeah, right there, FTP accounts. I click on that and then there it is. But they don't give me the option to make any because I only get the one. Right, moving on. Okay, that's the other one. Okay, error pages we'll talk about. So my domain here on the free one is right here, main domain. So I'm going to copy that. So if I throw it in here and I do something and I type something that doesn't exist, it's going to forward me to this. This is a naughty Chinese page. Okay, so I'm not going to let that load. So I don't want that to happen. I want it to direct somewhere else. So I can come here to the error pages. This is on the free host. And I can say alter error pages on this domain. And a 404 error means they've typed in something that isn't found. I go to this website a lot, IGN, and it's just a video game site. So if I type in something that doesn't exist, they're going to send me to this 404 page saying, hey, it's not found, princesses in other castles. So it's kind of a cool custom way to say, hey, what you typed in doesn't exist on our site. So you can do the same thing on these. I'm just going to redirect this to just the grass page. So I'm going to grab this, I'm going to copy it, paste it in here. So when a 404 error gets tripped, it's instead of taking them to the naughty Chinese page, it's going to take them to the grass page. Now that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm going to hit alter error pages and then it'll work because it doesn't say, hey, it doesn't exist. So you'll obviously want to forward this to some sort of page that says, hey, what you're trying to get doesn't exist. Click here to go back to the home page or something like that. So now when I type in something that doesn't exist, it forwarded me to the grass page. So that's something that's good to know to be able to alter that, because the last thing you want is some potential employer going to your site, mistyping something, and it sends them to some naughty page. Yeah, you don't really want that. Another reason to go paid instead of free. Okay, so moving on, we're on the free one still. We did error pages. Okay, you can look at your account statistics, how many people are visiting and stuff. All right, and then it says if you need help, you can create tickets. But the one thing I do want to show you here that's huge, and I think my paid host has the exact same thing. Yep, Scriptaculous is what they've called. This is different depending on the host, but both of my free and paid hosts have something called Scriptaculous. There's other ones called script installers. I don't know, other ones. Maybe CGI Center. I don't know if that would do it, to be honest. Yeah, no, we don't want that one. But it'll be script installer, or it'll say something that has to do with installing things on your host. So what this allows you to do, and I'll do it on the free one, is I'm going to click on Scriptaculous. And this is going to bring me into an environment where I can install pretty awesome things that can do some pretty powerful stuff, and they're usually all free. So I can come up here, control panel, script demos. We got all these different things. But say I mean, they just got a bunch of stuff. You can do blogs. So if I went to blogs, they got open blogs, Serendipity, WordPress, which almost everyone uses, bunch of different ones. If I wanted a forum software, they have PHP, BB, SMF. I love SMF. I've used that for a while. That was really good to make forums. Forums are just where people post stuff and they can respond to each other and all of that. Image galleries. I mean, Coppermine is a pretty cool one where you can set up a image gallery. This would be great for a portfolio, something like that. I mean, they just have a ridiculous amount of stuff that you can get. I don't even know what some of these are. Clip bucket. Great. So maybe this is somewhere where you can, yeah, it's basically like a YouTube clone. So you can start uploading your videos here. Granted, this is going to take a lot of space. Make sure that your host is going to allow this. As CMS or content management systems, like Joomla is a big one. This is basically a website in a box. You can create a website really quickly, but it's just really, it can get kind of hard to figuring out how to edit it and change things. But the point here is there are just a ton of free things that you can install that just have a lot of functionality. So where you don't have to build it, you just have to focus on customizing it instead of building it from scratch. So let me show you how to install something. We'll do WordPress. This is a really popular blogging software, but it's also used to create full-blown websites. With WordPress, you can do all kinds of crazy stuff, and we'll get into this. So once I pick WordPress, I can say, all right, I want to install it. Protocol is HTTP. The domain that it's going to go on is this domain, the one I got. In directory. So I'm going to call it blog. So what this does is once I install WordPress, to get to it, I'm going to have to type in my domain /blog. It's going to, let me connect real quick. It's going to go into my htdocs folder, and it's going to create a new folder called blog right here, and it's going to install everything that has to do with WordPress inside of that blog folder. And that's because I have blog right here. If I had WP, it would create a WP folder right here and install WordPress in there. But I'm just going to say blog because WordPress is usually used for blogs. Site name is just this, so I'll put my awesome blog. This is what's going to show up on the blog after it's installed. And then the site description, check it out. So here's going to be if you're going to blog about skateboarding or video games or knitting, whatever. You're going to want something that makes it obvious here saying, hey, knitting, whatever the name of your site maybe is probably going to want is what you want to put here. Knitting for knitters. I don't know, whatever. Site description is just that little description. So I could say knitters. This could be a website for people who knit. For people who knit. Bam. Multi-site. I don't know. I don't even know what it does, so I wouldn't really worry about it. So my username and password, you need to remember this. This is going to be what you use to get into your blog. This has nothing to do with your control panel, has nothing to do with this. This isn't how you log into your host. This is how you log into your blog that's going to be installed in this blog folder. So admin, I'll just do admin for now. And it's telling me that's really bad, but I don't really care. If you're doing this and you want to get emailed when people make posts on your blogs and things like that, you're going to want to put in a real email. You can always change this stuff later, by the way, and you can change the site name and description as well. But for now, I'm good. I'll just keep it like that. This doesn't exist, so this will get shot off into the nether. I would probably do this. You're going to limit the login attempts. That means if you get people getting there trying to log into your blog and take it over, it'll block them out after a certain amount. Advanced options, don't mess with the database name or this. This is all database stuff that you don't need to touch. If you want your blog to auto-upgrade and auto-upgrade all the plugins and such and the themes, check it, and it'll just upgrade them for you. I probably wouldn't, just because sometimes an upgrade might make your site not work with a certain plugin. You usually want to wait for the plugins to catch up to the themes, and I don't know. It's whatever you want to do there. If you want to back up your site, you can do that, and it'll automatically back itself up. You can back up WordPress pretty easily. Okay, and the themes is what it looks like. So I could do a search. No, I'm going to do a search for knitting. See if anything comes up. Yarn. Oh. Business. Well, then I'd probably want to come in here and find something that looks kind of like knitting. None of it really does, but I'll pick this because it looks great. If you want to know exactly what it'll look like, you can go to Demo, and then it'll give you an idea of exactly what this thing will look like. So they usually look pretty nice. And one thing that you may want to pay attention to that's kind of cool sometimes is if it's a responsive design. In other words, if I make this smaller, what does it do? Well, it definitely tries to be responsive. It shrinks everything down, so it would work fine on a mobile device, or at least some of it would. So that's something to pay attention to when you're picking a theme. So that looks good. I'll hit select. Okay, and then if I want to get emailed about the installation details, I can put it in there, but I don't really care about that. So I got all that in. The main thing I need to remember is admin, so I can get into the blog and do something with it. So I'm done. So I'm going to hit install. Going to take a few seconds to get everything set up. I can come over here and refresh this, see what's going on. Looks like it hasn't put anything in there yet. Maybe it has now. There we go. So it created that folder called blog, and if I double click it, here's all the WordPress stuff, all of the files. You don't want to mess with any of these, or you could hose your blog installation. All right, so this is some important information. It says, all right, your stuff's been installed at this. So if I go here, it takes me to the blog. So there we go. This is what it's looking like right now. If I want to log into it, I need to go here. This is standard for every WordPress installation. WP-admin at the end of your link. So I installed it in blog. So I go / after the blog, WP-admin, and that will take me to the login screen where I can log in. So admin. Remember that? You should. So it lets me in there now. So either remember it's wp-admin at the end, or you'll want to write this down, copy and paste, do what you need to do. Now, if you're like, you installed it in the wrong spot or you want to get rid of it, you can always come back into here and go into all installations, and this will show you all the stuff that you've installed. Now remember, this this free host gives you unlimited databases, so each one of these installations usually creates a database, so you could install really as many as you want here, which is nice. So if I can't remember the password, I could go into edit details, and I can come down here and go, I forgot the admin username and password, so I could retype it in there, assign something new, and then just hit save. So that's a good thing to know, is if you can't remember what it was, come in here, set it to something new, and then just hit save and you're good to go. Alright, so this is what it looks like. This is the WordPress dashboard. These are all the different things you can do. There is a ton of stuff. We're not going to go over everything. We'll just go over a few of the basics. So first thing you can do is go to Appearance, and wow, there's a bunch of other themes. So if I wanted to go to something different, I didn't want this, I wanted to do something else, I can come back here. Maybe it'll let me do cats now. Nope. Surf. Oops. Fun. Happy? Yeah, I don't know. There's a bunch. Maybe. I guess that's probably the way to do it. Do the add new. This will take you here. This should be a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. This is going into the actual, I think, WordPress repository. So this is all the good stuff. You can go to popular. This shows you all the popular themes. Now, of course, the issue with doing WordPress is you're just like everybody else, right? If someone else has this, then you will look just like them, unless you get in there and actually customize a lot of things. You may or may not care about that. You can go into featured. This is what WordPress wants you to know about. There are bare bones. So if I do bare bones, maybe not skeleton, maybe. I can't remember the actual name for them, but there are some themes that are just like, they barely have anything on them, so they're meant to be customizable. So maybe just Google bare bones themes or something, but they're meant for you to get in there and kind of do what you need to do to it. So if there's just another one you want, you just hit install, and then say I like that one, I hit install. Okay, and then all I got to do is I can do the live preview, and that's going to show me kind of what it looks like. Or I can come here and say activate, and then that turns it on, and then I have the new one now. So it's really easy to switch back and forth from themes. Okay, so another thing is if I come here, there's not a whole lot of stuff going on. So I can come over here to posts, and I can say I'm going to do a new one. Okay, and if I wanted to post like a YouTube video, I could come in here. Let's say I've been looking up a bunch of car stuff. So let's say, oh man, we totally want to know about that. So I can come down here to share, come down here to embed. I can grab this code, come back up here, and I want to go to text. If you go to visual, I'll show you what happens. If I paste it in with visual and I hit preview, it doesn't run it as code, it just shows it as text. So I need to come in here, get rid of that, and then do text, and then this will run it as HTML. So if I preview that, it should now actually embed it. So now it runs the text as code instead of showing it as text. So then there you go. Anyways, you can go add media, you can insert pictures, you can do all kinds of stuff that you want to do. Alrighty, pages is just adding pages. So when you add pages, it should come up here, and you can go to different pages on the navigation bar. They all go a little bit different. If your blog gets pretty popular, people are going to start commenting on it. So you'll want to go to comments, and you can take a look at the comments and what's going on. You can reply to them, you can edit them, you can get rid of them. It just depends on whatever you want to do there. Lots to do. Let's see. Let's head over to plugins. There's one plugin that's already here that you should definitely use, and that's a Kismet. This is a spam filter. If you do not use this, your blog will get spammed to heck and back. So to use it, you just hit activate. Excuse me. That's not all you have to do. You actually have to go over to their account, or you have to go over to their site and do some stuff. So I'm going to activate the account. I'm going to get my API key. I'm showing you how to do this one because it's just really important that you do it, because if not, you're going to get spammed bad. So we're going to get an API key. You're going to put your stuff in. So I don't want to do this. Fred. Dang it. I probably already did that, to be honest. I can do whatever at gmail.com. Wow. Let's see. That shouldn't be registered. There we go. Username's that. Okay. I hope I don't need to know that again, because I'm totally forgetting it. Okay, so now once you're in, and I would give them your information. They're not going to spam you or anything. I've never received anything from them. So you're going to name your price. You'll get started, and you're going to say that you can make them really happy and give them that much, or you could give them nothing, make them really sad, put in your name, and then hit continue. So they're okay with you using it for free, which I would recommend doing, unless you want to do something else and give them money. So I'm going to activate the site. Wait for a couple of years. Wow. This is great. Come on. There we go. So API key is there, and it just actually took me straight back into my blog, so I didn't have to do anything. All I got to do is just hit save, and I'm good. So yeah, I definitely get that one activated just so you don't get spammed, especially if this is something you want to do heavily. Okay, but then you can go to add new for plugins. Plugins are just stuff that people have written for WordPress that does amazing stuff. Like if I wanted to do a store on my WordPress login, I could. Just come in here and try to find one. Of course, obviously you want to take a look at the reviews and such and just get an idea of how to do that. Contact form, that's a good one to have if you want people to be able to contact you. So some of these are going to be free, some of them are going to be costing money. It just depends. If you're not really sure what to do, go to Featured and just see what's there, see what they have, or go to Popular and see what a lot of people are installing. This is a good one. XML sitemaps are really important for search engine optimization. So if you wanted to do that one, actually this one's good. This is security. It's kind of like virus protection and such for your WordPress site. So I'm going to install that. So it's really similar to themes. It'll get installed, and then it'll say, hey, do you want to activate this? And then you say yes or no. So I'm going to activate the plugin. Now this is where it gets a little tricky. once the plugin's installed, it's always different. So these guys make it obvious. They say, hey, here it is down here. Sometimes it doesn't show up anywhere. You go into plugins, it's not there. Sometimes you have to go to appearance. If it's a widget, you go into widgets, and you'll see it in here somewhere. And here's the widgets where you can click and drag things. You know, this is the sidebars. So you come in here and you can click and drag things. I mean, it's hard. But with WordFence, okay, there we are. Now we can scan my site to see if anything malicious has been happening. So this is a good one to have to keep your blog protected. Anyways, ridiculous amount of stuff you can do here. I'm not going to go too much into it, like I said, but there it is. Oh, wait, by the way, I can come back to my posts. There's my first post. It's a draft, so it hasn't been published yet. So I have to go to edit, and I have to say publish. Once I hit publish, then it'll actually show up on my blog. There we go. So now it just shows up in these little boxes. I can click on it, and then it'll actually take me into the full post. And then these are the sidebars. This is where I can change the categories and all of that. Basically, when I went over to widgets, appearance widgets, all the stuff that's in here shows up in there. Another one that's good to know if you want to actually make some money on your blog is Google AdSense. So right here is what you would want to do. You have to go to google.com/AdSense. You got to sign in. You got to create an account. And then once you have an account, you'll be able to use your blog, and then that'll start putting in ads and stuff. Just to show you what that does, this is a blog that my wife and her friend do. And I'll kind of show you what the AdSense can do once you get ads in there. So they just pin about stuff on Pinterest. They blog about that kind of stuff. So you come down and got to join your newsletter. This was another plugin add-in that they did. I think they removed it actually. I don't know if that was too smart of them. But so let's say I want to go to that one. They used to have an ad like right here, and it's not there anymore. So I'm thinking that either they removed it or did something. I don't know. This is funny. I wonder if the ads aren't working anymore because I'm not even seeing them. Oh well, you can tell them to show up here on the right hand side. You can have them be here. You can have them be down here at the bottom on the footer if you want. There's a bunch of different places you can put ads, but I think Google only allows you to do like 3 ads per page because they don't want you getting too crazy with them. But anyways, something to take a look at. But WordPress is pretty cool. You can do a lot of fun stuff with it. It's pretty powerful. It's really something you should know if you're going to do client work, because a lot of people use WordPress for their sites, and it's good that you've already kind of been familiar with it so you can help them out if needed. So hope that helped, guys. We will talk to you later.